Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to your Calendars franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we took on the New York Rangers in the first round of playoffs, and it was quite an easy time for us, which is good because I felt like we could have been cheesed, but we did not get cheesed. As you can see, we easily won that series in 5 games, and it was quite convincing for the most part, as we had a 4-1 win in Game 1, lost 4-3 in Game 2, so at that point I was not too sure what to make of the series at that point. And in the last 3 games, we went 4-2, 1-0, and 6-1. So a pretty solid first round for our team. We did play both goalies in the first round as well, just to try and see which goaltender was better. And it seems like both goalies are actually pretty good right now. Because if we go to our player stats here in that first round, for the most part, our offense, I'd say we're pretty good in terms of depth scoring. There are some guys that definitely need to start stepping it up a little bit more in terms of offense, but it was a 5-game series, so I expect if we do go to a 7-game series for more offense to happen. But from a goaltending perspective, Komatov was fantastic, a 962 save percentage and a 1 goals against average. Meanwhile, Nicholas, he had one game where he was very bad and he lost that game. Then the second game he came in and played really good, so he does have good stats, but he did have one bad game, one good game, so I'm not too sure still what to make of him, but Komatov so far has definitely been the better option. So we'll probably end up starting Komatov in the second round against the Blue Jackets and see what he could do. Hopefully he could kind of maintain that type of form, because we have played Columbus a lot in the postseason before. I'm pretty sure we've beaten them mostly every single time. Now, the Blue Jackets are still a good team. They're definitely not as strong as they used to be, but they are still simulating like a good team. And like I said, they have won a Stanley Cup before, which was quite some time ago. But they have a good core. They have some decent players still from that core, like Jacobson, Woodworth, and Nielakainen, obviously, who used to play with us. Nagy's been there for a long time. Hakkarainen and Hedman, I think, are pretty new for the most part, but a lot of this team is kind of not as good in the bottom 6. The defensive core is not too bad. It's definitely one of the stronger defensive cores I feel like we've seen, because they don't have a superstar defenseman, but they do have a legit top 4 for the most part, except for Levasseur. And then their goaltending is actually pretty good too, because they do have 2 guys they could go to at any point in time. So far, Maurer has started more playoff games, so I'm not too sure which goalie we're going to be facing in this first round. I think it probably would be more, but to be honest, it could be Chimera too, because they're both the exact same overall. So hopefully we go against a weaker of the 2 options right there. But should be an interesting round. Hopefully we can get ourselves back to the conference finals again, because we've been there so often. But if we do get to the conference finals, hopefully we're taking on a team we can beat. I was looking in between episodes, and it turns out that if we do get to the conference finals, this would be the first year we would not have to face a Canadian team in conference finals, because the Montreal Canadiens have already been eliminated. So whoever wins this series will face either Boston or New Jersey for a chance to go to the Stanley Cup finals. So with that said, let's get in your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and we'll see if we can get ourselves back to that conference finals again, and hopefully beyond that as well. So the first and only comment is from Sour Taco. Says, we've seen this play out over so many seasons. The real test will be in the conference finals if the game allows you to go there again. As far as what you should do after the series, I think a draft of glory would be fun. However, my take would be that you could only pick players who are not from North America nor Scandinavia. So Russia, elsewhere in Europe, and rest of the world. So in terms of what you were saying with this actual series, this Islanders one, yeah, it really depends on if the game actually wants to get us to the conference finals again. But once we get to the conference finals, that's always our real test to see if our team is actually different than in prior years. Because we know that we can win in the first 2 rounds, but we know that we have really big struggles when it comes to round 3. But what he was saying about the series afterwards, doing a draft of glory with Russia and the rest of the world and stuff like that, I don't know if I would want to do a Russia, rest of the world, and that type of thing, draft of glory, rather than another, doing Scandinavia or something instead, just because I feel like when these draft class happens, for instance, in this series, if we look at the draft class right now, where the majority of the prospects are from, you got usually a lot of Russian, Ukrainian type players, Czechian players. So I feel like it would be pretty easy to build a team with the players that are not necessarily from Scandinavia, because say if we were locked into only, in this franchise mode right now, locked into only taking people from Russia, for instance, there would be multiple options. If we were locked into Scandinavia, this guy would have to be our option probably, just because he's from Denmark, so we would be able to take him. If we were locked into all of Europe except for Scandinavia, we could take this Klinka guy. If we were locked into Canada, we'd be able to take Esh, that type of thing. So I feel like the game generates usually a lot of Russian prospects. It generates a lot of US prospects, Canadian prospects, of course. It doesn't really generate a ton of German players. It doesn't really generate a ton of Czechian players. So if we wanted to do like a Germany to glory, we could. But for instance, like in this draft class, the first player that's from Germany is not for quite some time. So I don't think it'd be very easy to do something like that. We could always make it, say, like all of Europe except for Russia. Yeah, Russia's not even Europe technically. I guess it's technically Asia. I used to think it was Europe, but technically for that next year's, we could always do all of Europe that's not including Russia and stuff like that. So we could always do like Czech Republic. We can't do maybe Scandinavia at all. So no Denmark, no Sweden, no Norway, no Finland. Maybe we only do, say, Czech Republic. We do down here, there's another, actually Denmark wouldn't count. On top of Czech Republic, like Switzerland, we could include on that. We could include Poland. We could include France. So maybe we could do something like that. Not Ethiopia. What I was saying. What's that friggin' country called? Oh man, it starts with an E. But would they count as Scandinavia too, or no? Like, we definitely have to think about what we want to do. There's apparently 2 Frenchmen in this draft class, but I know that the game doesn't generate a ton. We could add Germany to that list, so we could maybe just do a European team, and that does not include Scandinavia, if we really want to. And then we don't include Russia as well, just because I feel like Russia, there's usually a lot of Russian-generated prospects, a lot of, like, guys as well from Ukraine, Latvia, for instance, stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think about that idea, is just doing a Team Europe, basically, without Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. But anyways, with that said, I think we're ready to get into this matchup. Let's just make sure that we have the right goaltender in for game 1 of the series, and then we'll get ready into it. Hopefully, our team still continues to simulate good in this one. So we'll go to Komatov, and we have at least a healthy lineup going into this game. Obviously, if there's any problems, we can make some adjustments, get maybe a guy like Russell into the lineup. But let's see what we could do here in the second round against the tough Blue Jackets team, because both of us have pretty similar records in the playoffs, pretty similar stats, so should be a pretty even matchup for the most part. So here we go, game number 1 on home ice. Can we find a way to get off to a good start this round again as well? First period. 4-1 us. Well, that's quite the explosive start. We did just have a really good offensive game in the last game against the Rangers as well, where we scored, I think it was like 4 goals in the first period as well. So that's a fantastic start. 4 unanswered goals to start this series. So Dempsey opens the scoring really early on. Giordano gets 2 goals, and then Ragnarsson scores. Hakkarainen gets them on the board, but that's a pretty dominant first period. Shots are 13-9 in favor of us. Just got to be able to play a good second period here and not let them start to crawl back into it, or else that might not be good. Can we keep this lead intact going into the third? Second period. 5-5. I knew I felt off about that 4-1 lead, but this one was way different. They outscore us 4-1 in the second. God damn, I don't know what to expect now. We were up 4-1. Hakkarainen made it 4-2. Holmstrom made it 5-2. So at that point, our team's like, oh yeah, we're in a good spot right now. But then we gave up a shorthanded goal to make it 5-3. Nielikainen scores on us to make it 5-4. And Woodruff scores late. So we're tied at 5. Not a good start to the second round for Komatov. 5 goals against on 18 shots. Maybe he's not even in net anymore. But this is anybody's game going into the third, despite us out shooting him by 9 shots. This is definitely not a game I was anticipating. After that first period, I thought we would easily be able to continue our good defensive play, but Columbus definitely has a good offense, of course, so it makes sense that they get back into the game, but I didn't realize it was only going to take 1 period for them to get this game back to even again. I thought they were going to take some in the second and some in the third, but let's see what happens in this third period. I don't really know what the heck is going to happen in this third period, but let's see if we can get our lead back, because obviously Columbus has a lot of momentum after that period. So let's shut them down. Let's hope that Nicholas, if he's in net now, hopefully he can play good. Third period underway. We'll probably start Nicholas next game regardless, as Komatov lets in another goal. It's green to make it 6-5. Oh man, how the hell was it 4-1 and now it's 6-5 then? Do we have an answer to that? Power play for us? We do not score on it. And they make it 7-5. That's probably it at this stage, unless we have 2 unanswered goals in us. but an absolutely abysmal effort lately. Crane makes it 7-6. Gustafson, of course, our former defenseman, made it 8-6. And that is an absolutely bad first game of the playoffs for Komatov in the second round. 8 goals against on 27 shots. One of them was an empty net goal. Technically, we only lost that game by 1 goal if you don't include the empty netter, but we outshot them by 10 shots. And we were literally up 4-1 after the first period. There's no reason why our team should have given up technically, I guess, 7 goals and only scored 2 after that first period. Like, that's definitely one of our worst playoff games I think I've seen us play defensively in quite some time, as the Blue Jackets take a 1-0 series lead. Absolute crazy first game, though. Dempsey from Giordano from Schaefer and Houghton, Giordano from Dempsey and Lehman, Ragnarsson from Crane and Makinen. Then, of course, they start getting back on the board a bit. Holmstrom from Ashton and Mishenko, and yeah, then they just destroyed us. Crane from Ragnarsson and Giordano. So it looks like our top line did fantastic in that game, but there's definitely going to be some bad plus minuses. Gio had 4 points, a couple guys on 2 points, a couple guys on 1 point. But the plus minuses, Jane comes back into the lineup. He's only played 2 games since playoffs, -4 in this game. He was by far the worst player on the team. Oudinen had a weak defensive game as well, so that's not good. And yeah, Komatov has .731 save percentage. One of the worst playoff performances I've ever seen. And I feel bad for him, though, too, because he had a really good first round. Giordano gets first star in the loss. Of course, Neil kind of picks up 3 points against us to get second star. Woodworth, the third star. But we're definitely going to Nicholas for game 2 to try and even the series up. But we definitely should maybe look at some defensive adjustments already after a game like that. Like, that's totally uncalled for after how we played in that first round. So let's go back to edit lines and see what we could do here, maybe to make us a little bit better defensively, because that's the type of effort I don't really want to see. Like, I like the offensive production from our team, but I do not like the defensive play. So we are going to... How's the plus minus on the fourth line? Not the best. I wouldn't like normally scratching a young guy, but he's a sniper, so I'm going to probably... I'm probably going to do a little adjustment here where I take out the sniper out of the lineup and put in a more defensive-minded player. So Russell's going to play on that fourth line just to maybe give us a better defensive strength down there. In terms of our third line, plus minus is not the best either, so we could make some adjustments there, but I don't really know what. Top 6 has been pretty solid offensively, so I don't think I need to make any adjustments there. Defensively, I did not like Jang's last game at all. -4 in 2 games. Everybody else has good plus minus at this point. So we could always take Jang back out. You know what? I think I'm going to scratch Jang for a game. I know he just came back, but he was abysmal. Barker's dropping off a cliff because of ice time, which is unfortunate. And it does make that pairing a -1, but let's just try and get Barker back in and see if that helps anything out a little bit. But Nicholas will start, Nielsen gets scratched, and we get a little bit more defensive. Maybe that will help things a bit, but Columbus definitely shows that they have really good offense. They're scoring 4.5 goals per game right now, which is the best in the entire NHL playoffs. So definitely they have some threats. And we're third in goals for, so we're still scoring a lot of goals, but it's kind of crazy. We're still 6th in goals against. Despite that crazy loss where we allowed 8 goals. Like, I don't know how our goals against didn't get exploded by that, but let's hope that Nicholas comes back in and helps us play better defensively as we go on. So this might almost be considered a must-win game in a way, but it's not really, because if we could win games in Columbus, that would also help, but we definitely don't want to fall down 2-0 headed onto the road. So let's get to game number 2 and see if we can respond with a good defensive effort. The first period last game was good defensively and good offensively, so I want more of that if possible. First period, game 2. 2-1 us. Okay, that's not a bad start. Houghton and Ragnarsson, so 2 power play goals, and then Nagy gets on the board for the Blue Jackets. Shots are 14-11 in favor of us, so that's definitely more of what I want to see. I don't really want to see a period where we're down all of a sudden like 6-5 or something out of nowhere, like 4 goals against in the period. I just want to see good defensive periods. If Nicholas is going to play good, he's going to probably stay in net, and then eventually Komatov could come back in, but that's the good thing about having 2 solid goaltenders is we could literally go to either one of them. If one of them's hot, we play that goalie. If one of them's bad, we go to the other one. So let's see if we could add to this lead potentially in the second period or not. Last time in the second period was our bad period, so let's hope that we've learned from our mistakes a bit. Second period. Still 2-1. Okay, that's a much better defensive period. Shots are 28-26 in favor of Columbus, so both teams' goalies have actually learned to stop a puck in this game. Obviously, Nicholas didn't play last game, so not going to blame him at all, but their goaltender is also playing strong in this one. Can we find a way to hold on to this lead, maybe get some insurance, and tie the series up at 1? I almost said at 2 for no reason, but let's see what happens. Come on, boys. Power play, or not power play goal. What am I saying? Giordano makes it 3-1, but that's a big goal early in this third period. That's a big one to give us that insurance marker we kind of need. But this is definitely a much better effort defensively. And that's exactly what I wanted from this team. I don't really care about us scoring 6 goals in a game as long as we're not allowing teams to score goals against us. And that's exactly a great game. So, foul shots 39-38 at the end of it. More of a defensive game, which kind of plays more into our factor. Because we're more of a defensive team still, kind of in a way. We do score goals, but we are a defensive first team, I feel like, still. And then Columbus is more of an offensive first team. So Houghton from Ragnarsson, that was his first goal of the playoffs. I didn't realize that. Ragnarsson from Crane and Holmstrom, and we have Giordano from Lehman. Not too bad at all. Actually, I didn't want to go to Columbus' stats. Why did I do that? So yeah, Ragnarsson had a couple points, and then everybody else had 1 point. And of course, the plus minuses are usually much better. The goaltending effort was a lot better too. So Nicholas definitely will get the start for Game 3 in Columbus. He gets first star of the game, Ragnarsson second star, and Giordano the third star. All right, so maybe having Russell in the lineup will help things out a bit as well in terms of defensive play, but that is definitely a complete 180 of last game. So, yeah, I think that's exactly kind of what we need is those type of defensive games. We don't really need games where we're getting 6 goals in them. We just need to score like 3 or 4 goals and not give them up much, and we could definitely win games too. So we have a tie series headed to Columbus. Let's just get right into it and keep the team the exact same after a win like that. See if we could take that series lead because we have not had it yet. So let's see what happens. Game 3 on the road in Columbus. Nicholas starts again. Can we build off last game? First period. 2-0 Blue Jackets on 8 shots too. We already shot them 11-8, but they have a 2-0 lead. Hakkarainen and Jacobson. Jacobson's goal is a power play goal. Not an ideal first period for Nicholas, but I do like that at least we generated more chances than them, so I still feel like we could easily score a goal in the second period to get back into this game, but we don't like to be trailing after a period if possible, so we need a big response in the second period. Give me at least 1 goal, so that way we can maybe tie it up in the third, or give me 2 goals, and then it could become anybody's game going forward. Second period? 4-2. I mean, at least we scored some goals in that period, but they did get 2 goals of their own. Ashton made it 2-1. Axelson made it 3-1. Giordano made it 3-2. And Jacobson scored again. We're still out shooting him 24-14. So the goaltending has been a bit rough in the series except for last game. Nicholas is having a bit of a tough time now. Komatov had a rough first game. It's going to take probably all 7 games if we want to win this series, which means we're going to have some good, strong defensive games, but if we have these bad defensive games, bad goaltending games, it's going to be hard for us to win unless we have some offense in us. So can we find a way to get back into this game in the third period? If we could score a goal early, we could definitely still tie this up. So this game's not over yet, but let's play some good defensive hockey in this third period and try and get some offense going too. Third period underway. Come on, boys, pulling me within 1. Penalty kill. It's a long-ass penalty kill, and they get a power play goal from Greeny to make it 5-2. Well, that game is probably over. Nagy makes it 6-2. Yeah, the Blue Jackets' offense is definitely something that we need to find a way to contain. This is probably not as bad as the 8-6 game. Maybe it is worse. I honestly don't know. But 6 goals against on 24 shots. Our goaltending has definitely been a little bit more inconsistent in this round as compared to the series against the Rangers, but it looked like it was going to be close potentially until it wasn't. So Ashton from Holmstrom, and then we had Giordano from Dempsey and Barker. I don't like that third period effort really either. They scored 2 goals against us per period. Any badly minus people. Schaefer and Houghton are having a tough time. And that third line has been pretty bad too. Nicholas had a 750 save percentage. So the inexperience in net is definitely playing a little bit of a factor in the series. But we don't have a guy like Solovyov anymore to go to. This is unfortunate, but it's still, at least we're in the series. Like, we've been outplayed in 2 of these 3 games, but there's still a chance we could tie this series up and make it a best of 3. So we got to think of it like that. We might be getting him played in some of these games, but we're still in the series. We're not down 3-0 or something like that. So let's see what we got in terms of adjustments. I think I'm going to move Dempsey down. I like Dempsey's play, but I do need to find a way to get that third line to simulate better. So we're going to make some adjustments here and see if we can get something going a bit. And then, from a defensive standpoint, I do not know how Barker has been as of late. How has Barker been these 2 games? Oh, he had an assist in the last game. I didn't even realize that. That's good. That is good. Trying to think of if I want to keep him in or not. He's not been a bad player so far since being put back in. Let's take him back out. I think it's time for Jang to see if he can make amends for his bad first game of the series. And we will try and do a flip-flop of Schaefer and Carlton. Something I wasn't thinking of trying, but we are going to try it. And see if that helps things out a bit. Just because Howden's had a tough time defensively the last few games, him and Schaefer. Like, Howden's now -3 with 5 points only in 8 games. So he's not really playing like himself from the past for sure. Nicholas just had a rough game, so I am going to go back to Komatov again. And aside from that, I think we'll keep the rest the same. Is there anybody in the AHL that would be worth calling up at this point? Popov maybe, but he's a playmaker. We don't really need offense. We need defensive play. I mean, Hilbert maybe, but he's not the best defensive awareness guy. He's good stick checking, though. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that would be worth calling up at this point. Trotter maybe. Yeah, he's a sniper. Don't really need the goal scoring. So we'll probably run with this still and see if our team can tie this series up. If we could tie this up, like I said, we are still into a best of 3 scenario. If we lose this game again, it's going to be tough to come back from a 3-1 deficit. So we definitely need to get better defensively, and hopefully one of these goalies could eventually just start winning games and playing good consistently too. Because the first game was bad from Komatov, then the second game was good from Nicholas, the third game was bad from Nicholas as well. So giving Komatov another chance to play his second game of this round, we'll see what he could do here and see if he could tie the series up. But this is probably almost a must-win game at this point. Let's see what happens. Game 4 in Columbus, not on Columbus, what I was saying. In Columbus, can we tie the series up again? First period. Scoreless. Okay, that plays a little bit into our hands, which is good, but shots are in Columbus's favor, 12-9. So a good start for Komatov into defensive play. No offense, really, but that might be a good thing, really, for us because we're more of a defensive team anyways, as long as we don't allow Columbus to all of a sudden score like 3 goals in a period. Can we find a way to get that lead in the second period? Second period? 3-0. Of course I said 3 goals in a period, and then they get 3 goals in a period. This is not good. This might be the first year we don't make the conference finals at this point. 2 power play goals, Woodworth and Hakkarainen, then they get a short-handed goal. I don't even fully blame Komatov on that because they have now 25 shots to our 21. Damn, man. We're literally getting outplayed a lot in these games offensively. It's really unfortunate, but we might have to win 3 straight, which is doable, but it's going to be taking a full-on team effort to do that. But we're 1 period away from being down 3-1 in the series. Let's see if our team can maybe have a rally in this third period underway. Just got to get some early goals, and then maybe we can come back. But goal scoring is not really our strength. It's our defensive play. There's a goal from Mäkinen to make it 3-1. Not a bad goal to have, but they're still down by 2. Hakkarainen scores again. Hakkarainen's been a big difference maker for the Blue Jackets, and the series makes it a 4-1 game. And that's looking like it's going to be the final. Yep. 4-1 Columbus, and they are up 3-1 in the series now. They outshoot us 39-33. So that game's not on Komatov. That game's more on our offense for not showing up, and our defensive play in front of Komatov probably too. Because giving up 2 power play goals against and a shorthand goal in that second period is not ideal. Mäkinen gets his first goal of the playoffs just now from Ragnarsson and Lehman. This is unfortunate. Chimera's now finding his game as well. Who was badly plus-minus in this game? It was only a couple -1s, but I don't really know what to do at this point. I just don't. We're not getting the same offense from Houghton as we used to. Our defensive play is dropping off. It's been a very tough series for our team. Jang's apparently losing morale because of ice time, even though he was just put back in. But yeah, this is going to be a tough hill to climb out of this 3-1 deficit. We had one good game. The rest of these games have been bad. The first game, we could have easily won that if we would have actually held on to our lead. But we've given up a total of 19 goals in 4 games. You're not going to win like that. You're not going to win like that because that's almost a 5 goals against per game average, which is pretty bad. So, oh man. Yeah, our goals against per game is getting worse. Our offense is getting worse. I don't really know what to do in terms of adjustments. I could go best lines, but that might only work a tiny little bit. And this could be the last game Giordano and Mäkinen both play with the Islanders. I would like to re-sign one or both of them this offseason, but who knows if we're going to be able to afford both of them. Who knows? Mäkinen's only got a Calder trophy in his career. Zane Giordano's got nothing. Oh boy, what do I want to do? Let's maybe try something drastic. We're going to go Lehman top line. Ragnarson's going to the second line. Dempsey's going to go back up. And then we're going to go back to the original third line. Fourth line, I'm going to take Russell out of the lineup again. We're going to go a little bit more offensive. We're going to get Nielsen into the lineup again. And then defensively, we're going to go back to Schaefer and Houghton again. We're going to go with Carlton and Holmstrom, Lindsay and Jang still. And Nicholas will come back in, I think. Yeah. Nicholas has been technically the better of the 2 goalies, I think, in the series anyways. So we'll go with that, and we'll see if this team can rally out of a 3-1 deficit. But it is very unlikely that we come back in this, unless we show that experience that we have from the last number of years. But kind of sucks because we've been to the conference finals so much. We went to a cup finals and we might be getting eliminated in the second round. And after the season, we literally only have a few seasons left. And this team might never get a Stanley Cup, which is really hard to digest because this team's been really good in the regular season. But this is kind of, I guess it could be technically karma because my Jets years I did last year, I won a ton of Stanley Cups with that team. And I never won that many Stanley Cups in a series. Now it makes sense that I run into a team like the Islanders where I don't even win a single Stanley Cup. But it's kind of insane though. Because I think I had the same issue when I did an Islanders series back in NHL 17 where I only won 1 Stanley Cup. I didn't do all 25 years, but I'm pretty sure I only had 1 Stanley Cup at that point. Now I was new to franchise mode at that point, but this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Well, let's get into this game and see if we could extend our season a little bit longer. Real-time simulation back on home ice. Can we force a Game 6? Just take it one game at a time, boys. I think we've come back from 3-1 deficits before, so we could do it again. We could do it again. At least it's better than being down 3-0 in the series. Come on, boys. Kill this off, please. Thank you. Good little penalty kill effort there in the first period. Penalty kill again. We got to be disciplined in these type of games too, but we're not so far. Power play for us. And we do score first. It's Mäkinen. Nice to see. So Mäkinen's on the board again. Obviously the pending free agent. I really hope I can get him and Giordano back, but I'm honestly not too sure how much they're going to cost me. But shots 13-11 in favor of the Blue Jackets after first period. We're up 1-0. Can we build off that first period in the second? See what happens. Second periods are usually where we fall apart, so we got to play good. We got to play good. Nielakainen ties it up. Of course he does. I kind of wish we would have held on to Nielakainen longer, but there was not really much room for him in our lineup. Maybe those were some of the decisions we made that were really bad for this team that we thought were good. Maybe we should have held on to some other people instead. So it's 1-1 going into the third. Shots are 27-25 in favor of the Blue Jackets. It's a good defensive game so far, a good goaltending game, but we need to find ways to score goals too. So let's see what happens. Third period underway. Power play for us to start off this third. We do not score on it. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. Come on, guys. You got this. Just got to extend this series by 1 game at a time, and we could come back. Are we going to overtime for the first time in the series? The answer is yes, we are. So we are going to have to jump on in, which means this episode could go very long depending on if we go to multiple overtimes and stuff. But shots are dead even, 38-38. It's a 1-1 game. If Columbus scores, they go to the conference finals. If we score, we extend our season at least for one more game. So let's hope that we can find a way to win here, because we're in front of our fans. Our fans deserve Stanley Cups, so we got to find a way to get it done. So let's make sure our music's turned off, which it is. That's good. Let's hop on in and see if we could force a Game 6, and then hopefully once we get into a Game 6, hopefully we could force a Game 7. Just got to take it like that. One period at a time, basically, though. Come on, boys. We have our top line out there. Makinen against Woodworth on the draw. Makinen. Come on, Makinen. You got this. He wins it. Nice. Howden throws it to Schaefer. Schaefer up to Makinen. Makinen carries it in. Finds Crane. He scores immediately. Okay, well, we do extend the series to Game 6. The captain scores in overtime on the first shot. Well, I didn't expect us to score that quick into it, because sometimes you never know. It could go to like triple overtime or something like that when you watch games. But a big goal there from the captain on like a simple little wrist shot. And we are going to a Game 6. Nice stuff there. That's absolutely huge. And what the heck are these sellies? What the heck? Oh, the yes, yes, yes thing? That's probably what that is. Well, good on the boys to get that win there. Nice little pass from Makinen to Crane and a little wrist shot. That was probably one of the fastest overtime winners I think I've seen. Only took a total of, I don't know how many seconds into that. What was the timeline on that goal? Oh, it was literally like 26 seconds into overtime. Damn. So, yeah, 26 seconds in. Let's go to the box score from that game. So, Makinen from Ragnarsson and Houghton, and Crane from Makinen and Schaefer. And, of course, our former Islander, Neil Kynan, scored in that game, though, too. But we do extend this to Game 6, which is fantastic. All right, so let's get to the next game quickly. But when we do play good defensively in games, we've won. So as long as we're not allowing them to score more than like a goal, we could have a chance to win these games. And that's a huge overtime win. Now we could literally force a Game 7 if we just played this game good too. But obviously it's going to be tough because we're in Columbus. So let's keep the lineup the same for this game and see if we could force a Game 7. I could make more adjustments, but at this point, we might as well just go into it. Can we force a Game 7 back on home ice? This would be a huge win if we could win here. Come on, boys. I believe in you. I know you have it in you. I know you do. Big penalty kill to start that game. And we score first. It's the OT hero from last game. It's Captain Crane. Love to see it. Maybe Crane could spark the boys. Maybe he can. Crane's a good leader, too. He has leadership stuff. So he's the type of guy that can maybe help us out quite a bit if he starts scoring like this. And a big penalty kill there at the end of the first period. It's 1-0 us after the first. Shots are 14-13. So pretty even first period. Let's keep it up in the second. Take one period at a time, boys. Second period's underway. Can we get some insurance? We're definitely playing much better defensively as of late here. They tie it up again. Of course they do. Jacobson makes it a 1-1 game. Come on, boys. This is very similar to the last game. Ashton makes it a 2-1 game, so that's a big goal from the third liner. He hasn't scored in quite some time, I feel like. Holmstrom makes it 3-1. Okay, those are two big goals in the final 4 minutes of the second period. We have a 2-goal advantage going into the third with the shots 27-22. If we could just lock it down for 20 more minutes, we're going to a Game 7. Holy moly. If we could get to a Game 7 and find a way to win this series, that would be absolutely awesome. So just got to close it down for 20 more minutes, and then we could go to a Game 7 and potentially find a way to win the series somehow. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, guys. Hey, Giordano makes it 4-1 immediately to start the third. That's a big goal at this point. We're finding our offensive game, and we're consistently playing good defense these last two games as well, which is definitely the difference maker. If Columbus is not scoring goals, they aren't winning games, basically. This is huge. And we will be going to a Game 7 back on home ice despite being down 3-1. So that's another great effort. 41-33 to shots. We went 4-1. It started with Crane again. And yeah, Crane may be the difference maker. If we didn't win that game in overtime last game, our season would have been done. So we are surviving by all costs. Crane from Makinen and Lehman. We had Ashton from Mishenko and Holmstrom. Holmstrom from Ashton and Carlton, and Giordano from Dempsey and Ragnarsson. 3 stars of that game, Nicholas, Ashton, and Holmstrom. Nicholas has definitely found his groove here the last few games too. And he's been very good when he has won games. So which version of Nicholas are we going to get in Game 7 is the question. And can we find ourselves to the conference finals again? If we do get there, we would be facing the New Jersey Devils. And New Jersey used to have way back in the day. We made a big trade with them with Matt Barzal and all that. So it'd be kind of an interesting matchup to play against them despite Barzal being retired by this point. Do I want to keep the team the exact same? We've been playing really good defense with the last 2 games, but if we go back to this type of game, we're going to have a tough time. So I think we're going to keep the team the exact same because we've been on a good note, but I'm kind of scared that we could revert to it. But literally when we win games, we've only allowed 1 goal. So if our team plays a good defensive first period, maybe first half of the game, that might bode really well for our confidence. So let's keep the team the same. It's a bit of a risk, but can we win this series despite losing 3 of the first 4 games and winning this in 7? And can we get to a conference finals for the, I guess, the 6th consecutive year, which would be kind of insane. Come on, guys. Do it for your fans. You got to this Game 7. Let's just show them that we want to get to the next round. Power play for us early in the game. We do not score on it. That's unfortunate, but we do get some chances, which is nice to see. Can we find that first one? No, we can't. Coolman opens the scoring for the Blue Jackets. We answer right back. It's Lindsay of all people. That's a big goal from the young defenseman to tie this game up at 1. These last few games have been pretty damn close. Like, they've been 1-1 for most of regulation. Shots are 16-11 in favor of us. It's a 1-1 game. Going into the second, can we find a way to get that first lead of the night? Because we have not had the lead at this point. And who wants to give it to us? Second period underway. Power play for us to start the second. Rensfeldt gets a shorthanded goal, but we get a power play goal on that same power play at least from Kazanov. So a little bit of a hiccup, but the power play responds, which is absolutely huge at this point in this game and in this series. Holy moly. We're in for a crazy game, it looks like, again. And, oh, baby, Ashton makes it a 3-2 game going into the third. That's a big late goal. I was literally going to say, man, we're going to be going tied going into the third again. But shots are 30-20 in favor of us. We're up by a goal. It's anybody's game still, pretty much, at this point. Oh, my goodness. Whew. It's unlikely players scoring this game, too, which is nice. Lindsay, Kazanov, and Ashton, of all people. So, can we hold on to this lead, get some insurance, and find a way to win this final 20 minutes? Come on, boys. I believe in you. And if we win a series, do we have a chance to do better than the conference finals this year? Come on. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. Third period's underway. And they immediately tied it up. Oh, my God. Come on, guys. Power play for us. We do not score on it. And I'm going to jump in with 10 minutes to go in the third period. I know it's a lot of time left in this game, but at this point, I would rather watch it happen in real, like in game than in a sim engine. I just feel like it's a good time to jump in. So some of you guys might not want that, but it's fun watching AI in these situations. It's kind of stressful too, don't get me wrong, but let's hop on in, see if we could win the series. It's a tie game. We might as well jump in, right? We're both pretty even teams in terms of like stats and all that, so should be an interesting finish here. Who wants to be the hero? We have our third line out there. Ashton, Kazanov, and Mishenko. Here is Jang. Jang, the free agent defenseman signing. Jumps it in. Legacy up to Rensfeldt, who had that shorthand goal earlier. Rensfeldt walking around. Shoots it. Nice save by Nicholas. A little bit of a dangerous slap shot there. Jang didn't cut off him too well, so. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to lose my breath too in this for no reason. Giordano's leading us in points right now in the playoffs. He's actually had a really good second round so far. All right, Mackinnon versus Woodworth on the draw. Both top lines out there again. Woodworth wins it. Here's Matt in a shot. That goes off a body and wide, or just maybe it was a rocket shot that missed. Lehman with it. Up to Houghton. Houghton dumps it down. Maybe Lehman always meant to be on the top line. I don't really know. Here is Mattinen. Over to Haken. Over to Jacobson. Houghton can't get him, but shot goes way wide. Mattinen over to Jacobson. He drops it to Haken, a bomb, and that's blocked. Yeeks. They're coming on a little strong here, which is a bit scary. As Schaefer gets tied up, he gets that puck. And he gets it out. Here is Captain Crane. Over to Lehman, who was the trade deadline acquisition, finds Houghton. Houghton walks in, shoots a big save by their goalie. Nice forecheck to keep it in. Lehman finds Giordano. Over to Ragnarsson. Schaefer. Giordano. Houghton in. Lehman. Can't get a shot. Oh my goodness. A lot of Finnish players in this game, it seems like, too. Hedman to Haken. Haken with the puck. He finds Nagy. Nagy makes a move. Nagy shoots it, and that might have hit a crossbar. I'm not too sure, but Nagy was the guy I wanted to trade for quite a few years back, but I didn't. Here's Ragnarsson. Dumps it in. Oh my god. Levasseur to Engren. Over to Hakkarainen. Over to Nagy. Nagy makes a move, can't get by. Dempsey with the puck again. Here is the young forward. Finds Ragnarsson, can't get the shot through. Poke checks, but can't get it back. He's now with Hakkarainen. He finds Nagy again. Nagy over to Hedman. Nobody covering him. Big save there by Nicholas. Turnover. Hakkarainen with it. Spins. Gets it. Shoots it. Big save again, Nicholas. And they have full pressure. Get it out. Get it out. And Holmstrom will get it out. Oh my goodness. Thank God for Holmstrom's speed. He finds Ashton. He finds back to Holmstrom. It's a 2-on-1. Mishenko a chance, and he's stopped by Chimera. That came out of nowhere, that 2-on-1. I was not expecting that. God damn. But what a great defensive play by Holmstrom, and then he almost got a great offensive chance out of it. Alright. Face-off in their zone with a minute 26. Still a tie game. We're out shooting them by 11 shots. It is Makinen versus Woodworth. Crane. Gets it to Lindsay. Over to Makinen. Makinen to Crane. It's turned away in tight. That was a great chance. Jang finds Crane. Over to Lindsay again. Another chance. Another save. We have full pressure now in this final minute. Crane. Jang. Can't get the shot through. And it's a chance for the Blue Jackets. Engren. Over to Nielakainen. Nice poke check by Lindsay. Lindsay throws it up. Can't get it out of the zone. Axelson. Crane gets it over to Makinen. We're almost into the final 30 seconds. It's Makinen with the puck. Makinen can't get by their defender. Here's Woodworth all the way up to Axelson. Crane throws a nice little hit. Here's Kuhlman. Kuhlman poke check by Jang. It's back on Makinen's stick. Makinen lost it again. Axelson finds Haley. Riley Haley. Over to Mattinen. Over to Kuhlman. Oh my god, that was dangerous. Oh my god, big save there from Nicholas to keep this season potentially alive right there. Absolute huge save at that point. We got a face-off in the defensive zone. It's Hedman versus Giordano. Come on, Gio. Giordano, will he win the draw? The answer is no, he won't. Here is Haken over to Mattinen. He shoots it off of body and wide. Schaefer picks it up, finds it to Dempsey. Looks like we might be going to overtime because Dempsey's taking his time. We are, in fact, going to overtime in Game 7. Winner take all. Winner will go to the conference finals. God damn. This game has been a little bit scary, but it's definitely been a fun one to watch. Some crazy chances there. We could have won some of this on some of those shots. They definitely could have won the game on some of those shots, and now it's do or die. All right, let's get to overtime here in Game 7. See if we could extend our season to the next round. Come on, boys. You got this. Makinen versus Woodworth on the face-off dot. Makinen wins it. Schaefer finds Crane. Crane gets blown up. Yeah, that's not great. Here's Woodworth. Woodworth with it over to Jacobson. Get it away. Over to Haken. Over to Nielakainen. I don't want Nielakainen to have that puck, man. Because then I would make the wrong decision if he's out there and he gets somehow a net shot. I don't know. Schaefer dumps it in. Oh my goodness. These games are just stressful, man. Woodworth. Woodworth with the puck. He gets by. He curls back. Nicely done. Good forecheck by our defenders. Here comes Lehman. The free agent signing. He's got a chance. He's not going to shoot it. Still goes in front of the net. How did a quick chance and a big save by Chimera. I like Lehman's speed. Goddamn. I thought he was going to pass that across the ice before he went around, and he went around, threw it to Houghton with a great chance. That would have been a nice one. And now we have our second line out there against their first line. It's Gio versus Woodworth. Gio can't win the draw, which is unfortunate because they were a little bit tired. Here's Hagen finding Woodworth. Woodworth with the puck. Nice defensive play by Ragnarsson. I feel like I've seen Ragnarsson do that play so many times, picking off a pass. Dempsey with it. Dempsey carries it in. Dempsey still with the puck. Great pass. Its shot is blocked. 99.5 mile an hour blast on that 1T. And somebody got in front of that. Scary. Gio throws it over to Carlton. Carlton throws it up. Here is Houghton, the defenseman. I don't know why he's all the way up there, but I'm not going to question it because he is an offensive defenseman. That's pretty insane. Here is Hedman. Throws it in to Hakkarainen. His shot's blocked. Loose puck in front as there was pandemonium in front of Nicholas. Hakkarainen up front. Blocked again by Carlton. Hakkarainen a shot. Another block. Another chance. Another save. Oh my god. We're playing bad in our own zone defensively right now. But we do get it out. Some crazy big shot blocks and big saves. Here's a chance now for Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson will blast it to the net. It's off a body, and Chimera has to make a big save as that puck deflected to him. Oh my god. Big defensive plays and then almost a chance to win the game. We have our third line out there against theirs. It's Ashton versus Haley on the draw. Will Ashton find a way to win this draw? It's tie up. They get to the puck. Kazanov a chance, and that's turned away, but we do get a power play as Axelson will be going to the box for interference. That's a huge power play coming up for us. I didn't even see the interference play, but it might have been because he was tying up the guy on the faceoff dot. What happened? Let's see this. So there's a tie up on the draw. Axelson just kind of came in and kind of shoved a bit too far. Oh yeah, he interfered, I guess, technically with the centerman. I guess I could see it, but it's a little bit of a weird call, but gives us a power play opportunity to try and win the series. So I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain. Okay, we have our second power play unit out there. Ashton, Lehman, Kazanov, Holmstrom, and I don't know who the other player is at the point yet. Oh, it's Dempsey, that's right. Greeny will dump it. Dempsey will glove it down. Dempsey getting forechecked. Greening's with the puck shorthanded. What are you guys doing? We're on the power play. Get away. Oh my god. If they got a shorthanded goal, I swear I would be pissed off here. And we still have it in our own zone. We've missed like 20 seconds off for power play, or 30 seconds almost. Here's Lehman. Lehman making some moves, still with the puck. Lehman over to Houghton. Houghton walks in. Houghton and turns it over. Here is Rensfeldt. They do already have a shorthanded goal in this game too. We got to be careful. Rensfeldt walks in. That's a big save by Nicholas. And that was dangerous as Rensfeldt looked for his second shorthanded goal of the night. I think he has a shorthanded goal in this game, or maybe it was last game. No, I think it was this game. But, my god. This game, we're not playing grid red on our power play right now. We are going to keep our second unit out there, which is kind of weird. I thought I would put our top unit out there, but Ashton versus Haley on the draw. Ashton wins it. Nice. Houghton finds Lehman. Lehman carries it up, finds Gio. Here is Giordano. Can't get by. Our power play has literally generated nothing so far. They dump it in. Bad defensive play by Houghton as it gets to Nagy. Nagy throws it across. Good defensive play there by Houghton. And now we have it 3-on-2. Makinen with it. Over to Crane, and it's blocked. I didn't see what the speed on that was, but looked like he got a lot on it. God damn. Giordano with it. Come on, guys. We're literally getting no shots on goal in this power play so far. Makinen, great pass. Here comes Crane. Can he do it again? No, he can't. Crane gets it back, though. Finds Makinen. Over to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson will bomb it, and Chimera to save. Ragnarsson's got quite a clapper when he wants to use it. 28 seconds left in the power play. We only have one shot. Can we generate some momentum now as we have our second unit back out there again? I don't know why we have our second unit out there so much, but Ashton ties up. Legacy, Hedman, and they will get it out before we get full pressure. Get to that Dempsey. He's pressured. We get to that puck. Holmstrom helps recover it. We have still time left on this power play. It's banked ahead. Here is Lehman. Lehman can't get the pass across. Legacy will get it. Not out. Holmstrom with a great keep. Lehman gets it back to the point, and it goes out of our zone. And our power play is over. Holmstrom nearly lost the puck after the turnover. Woodworth with it now. Woodworth walks in, shoots, Nicholas the save. I don't like that we didn't generate really any chances on that power play. It does not make me have a lot of confidence in this team right now. But we got to find a way. We've won 2 straight games. Let's just find a way to win this one here. As we have our fourth line out there against our third line. And Haley wins the draw despite our centerman having good face-offs. Nice takeaway by the youngster Nielsen. Here is Savage the Grinder. Savage can't get by. Cuffs us in, throws it all the way up. Here is Kuhlman. It's 2-on-1. Kuhlman walks in. Nicholas a huge save. As bad defensive lapse a little bit. And they had a 2-on-1. They could have went for a pass, but I guess he was shooting for a rebound or something. But our fourth line still out there now against their fourth line. Come on, Drouin Delorier. I brought you in for the face-offs. And he wins it. Nice. Carlson to Holmstrom. Up to Savage. Savage the grinder. Lost it, but Holmstrom picks it up. Finds it to Drouin Delorier. Over to Nielsen. He can't get a shot. Nielsen's a sniper, remember, so he might be able to score some goals here. Here's Jang over to Nielsen, and he's robbed by Chimera. I almost called it. The youngster, Nielsen, nearly scored one of his first career playoff goals, I think. But he gets absolutely robbed on that backhander by Chimera. Absolutely robbed. And that would have knocked them out of the playoffs. Chimera keeps this season alive for the Blue Jackets right there. Oh my god. That might come back to bite us. Hopefully not. Both teams still have their fourth lines out there. Drouin Delorier versus Greening. He wins it again. We'd have full pressure. Savage. Nielsen. Another backhander, and that's stopped by Chimera. Nielsen's giving us some chances, so at least that's a good thing about having a sniper on the fourth line, as the other teams might be more defensive, so they might not know how to guard a guy that's that good offensively. Drouin Delorier again at the draw. Can't win this one. Rensfeldt with it for the Blue Jackets. And he banks it up and out of the zone. Delorier gets the puck. He finds Nielsen. We still have pressure. Nielsen carries in out front. Can't get that pass across. Here's Greening, and they get it to Lyon, and the pressure's probably gone now. Yes, it is. Here is Lindsay. Lindsay, great pass up to Savage. Savage with the puck. Can't get by Haken. Here's Woodworth. Good little hit there. Madden throws it up to Woodworth, over to Jacobson, just onside. Jacobson over to Woodworth. Woodworth a bomb, and that's wide in the net. Yikes. Don't want Woodworth shooting that puck, because that guy can score goals. Here's Jang over to Mäkinen. We have our top line back out there. Mäkinen with the puck. Mäkinen still with it. Throws it to Lehman. Lehman walks out front. He got a shot, and that's turned away by Chimera and tight. Great chance there for Lehman. That's offsides, right? No, it's not. That looked offsides to me. Neil kind of turned away. Jacobson with it. Nice play there by Schaefer defensively. He let the guy come to him instead of he goes to them. Giordano almost goes in offsides. He'll rag it a little bit. Houghton behind his back over to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson carries it in. Can't get past Levasseur. It's Schaefer with it again. And he turns it into our own zone. Houghton's got to chase it down. Nagy gets into it first. Nagy out front. Great pick off by Giordano. Both teams making a couple mistakes here. Giordano walks in with it. Giordano to Schaefer. Schaefer out front. Can't get the pass across. Here is Giordano again. Nice pass, and it's turned over again. Gio tried to rush it into the middle of the ice. Now we have another defensive play. Hedman a chance on a broken play and a huge save by Nicholas. Great defensive play by Carlton at first, but nobody was there to guard the guy in the middle of the ice too. And we have another defensive zone face-off. It's Ashton versus Haley. Ashton literally was brought in for his face-off attributes too. Can he find a way to beat Haley on this draw? And it's tie-up, and we get to the possession of the puck. Good. Kazanov with it. We're into the final minute of his first overtime. Here's Holmstrom over to Ashton, and that's turned away by Chimera. Kazanov walks out front with it. Can't get a shot. Here is Kuhlman. Kuhlman with the puck. Kuhlman still with it. Shoots at Nicholas, the big save. Mishenko back up to Kazanov. It's back and forth hockey these last few minutes. Kazanov walks in. Can't get a pass across. Axelson with it for the Blue Jackets over to Legacy, I guess. Walks in with it, shoots, and that's a big save there. That might have just barely hit the stick of Nicholas. Holmstrom gets it back up. Here comes Mishenko. Turns it over again. Haley gets hit. Here is Axelson. Axelson, nice play by Holmstrom. We're going to double overtime in Game 7. I didn't expect us to watch a full overtime, but both teams had some really good chances. We had a power play we didn't do much on. Both goalies made big saves. Shots are 47-37. And we head to double overtime for another maybe 20 minutes. Who knows? Can we find a way to win this one and win the series? Whoever scores this goal is going to be huge in either Channel history or Blue Jackets history. Blue Jackets win the draw. Here is Jacobson. Jacobson with it for them. Finds it to Woodworth. No defenseman covering him, but a good recovery by our defensive core. Here is Lehman. Finds it to Crane. The captain gets in with it. Walks in, shoots it, and that's turned away. That was a nice pinpoint shot. Schaefer. Lehman. Mäkinen gets it over to Houghton. Schaefer shoots it. It's blocked. And Nielakainen's got a breakaway after a broken play. You got this, Nicholas. Yes, he does. Big save there by Nicholas. Woodworth a chance. Another stop by Nicholas. Okay, Nicholas has definitely proven to me that he's a good goalie at times here in this game. Lehman shoots it and he misses. Holy moly. Come on, guys. This is a very crazy overtime. A lot of chances for both teams. It's been no short of exciting. Houghton to Crane. Crane to Schaefer. Houghton to Mäkinen, and he scores! Kari Mäkinen, the pending free agent, on a backhand. Last time there was a backhand, Chimera saw them both, but this time he doesn't. The New York Islanders, in double overtime, are going to find themselves back in the conference finals once again, just barely finding a way to beat the Blue Jackets. But now that means we're going to have a date with the New Jersey Devils to potentially try and find ourselves back in that Cup Finals again. Oh my goodness. What I was going to say before that happened, though, is our team literally seems like they overpass it quite a bit when we watch them. There's nobody that actually takes the shot a lot, but it's great to see Mäkinen, who's a playmaker, take that shot on that play. Oh my goodness. Remember that goal if we find a way to win the Stanley Cup this year. Just remember that. I don't even know what New Jersey has on their roster, so I'm excited to see what that looks like. But that was a huge goal in double overtime. No-look backhand, almost top cheese. Love to see it. Let's take a look at a replay on that. So, this play only happens because of the forecheck. The Blue Jackets are trying to get this out of the zone. Good forecheck by Lehman, who we brought in. Absolutely huge addition. He steals this puck, starts the puck, or the process of moving it around a bit. Houghton looks like he gets shooted there. He doesn't. And then Crane, the captain, will rag it a bit. He finds it over to Schaefer. Schaefer then throws it back over to Houghton. Houghton sees the opening with Crane. Or not with Crane, with Mäkinen. And he throws it down low to him. And he just throws this beautiful backhand upstairs. And that wins us the game. Literally everybody on the ice did their part in that chance to win the game. So that's an absolutely huge goal. We're definitely getting a screenshot of Mäkinen in that one. Because this is Mäkinen's potential last game here, unless we re-sign him. But that's a huge, huge goal. I definitely want to re-sign him after a goal like that. But definitely got to get a screenshot of that. Because that could go down in our channel's history. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. And shout out to Nicholas, though, too. He made some huge saves in that overtime. So Ashton, the third, started the goal in 4 hits. He had some good plays in overtime. Some face-offs won, some big hits, too, like that one. Goddamn. Second start of the game going to Houghton, 2 assists for our best defenseman. Nice little pass there on the overtime winner. And then the first start of the game is going to be going probably to Nicholas. Nope, Kari Mäkinen, OT winner, gets first star of the game. Like I said, I thought it would have been Nicholas. Nicholas actually played really good, though. He should have probably got a star, but crazy back and forth game. We get a lot of support in that second period that helps out quite a bit. Lindsay from Ragnarsson, Giordano, Kazanov from Holmstrom and Dempsey, Ashton from Houghton and Schaefer, and the overtime winner is Mäkinen from Houghton and Schaefer as well. Love to see it. Love to see it. Any badly minus people in that game? A couple, but I feel like that overtime at least showed us that we're good. And yeah, Nicholas was fantastic. Nicholas is a big part of why we came back in that series. We win 4-3 in that game. We win in 7 games, and we came back from a 3-1 deficit. So next round, we play New Jersey, which is awesome. So let's get that confirmation. Yep. We have home ice advantage, which is good, but they're 8-2 in the playoffs right now. Western Conference Finals is LA and Seattle. All right. Well, let's take a look at what our player stats are, and then we'll take a look at New Jersey and see what the roster and stuff is looking like. But our player stats so far for the playoffs, let's just sort by forwards and defensemen just to make it a bit easier. Gio's over a point per game, same with Crane and Ragnarsson. Dempsey's on a point per game, which is fantastic for the youngster. Mäkinen is under point per game, but he did just score a big goal, so I don't really care too much. Lehman on 9 points. Everybody else is a little bit low, but our top 6 has been scoring a lot. Maybe need a little bit more of the guys like Savage and Nielsen, but they had some chances. Defensively, Holmstrom's the best defenseman right now with 9 points. Houghton on 8. Holmstrom's had a good playoffs for the most part. Schaefer's on 7 points too. So looks like we're getting offense from our back end quite a bit, which is good. And then from a goaltending perspective, Nicholas is on a 928. Komatov dropped off to a 902. So I think Nicholas will start the conference finals. But obviously, if he plays 2 bad games in a row, we could still go to Komatov. But Nicholas was very, very good in that series when he played. Because if we look at those game logs against Columbus, game 2, we put him in net. He was fantastic. Game 3, he was in net again. He played terribly. He then came back for game 5, 6, and 7 and was really good in all 3 of them. So he's finding that playoff consistency, which is awesome to see. So shout to Esteban and Nicholas. All right. So New Jersey, in terms of the regular season, how good were they and what were they like so far in this playoffs? So they were 10 points back of us. So they were a wild card team despite having 106 points, I think, which is kind of insane. They scored 3.37 goals for per game. They allowed 2.94. Their power play was better than ours, obviously, 20.1. And penalty kills, 88.7. So they had better special teams in the regular season. We had better 5-on-5 play, which is similar to some other teams we've played already. In terms of the playoffs so far, we did see that they're 8-2, so we got to watch out for that. We are 8-4. We're both scoring a pretty similar goal totals. We're 3.33. They're 3.2. Their goals against has been fantastic, though. 1.9 goals against average right now. Ours is a 2.67. So New Jersey's a full-on defensive team, I guess, but they do score goals as well. Our power play has been better than theirs. Their power play is only 11.5%. Their penalty kill, though, is very good at 93.3%. So, yeah, they're a defensive team this postseason right now. All right. Well, let's take a look at their roster, and then we'll take a look at their player stats as well to see who's the threat on their team. But we've never played them before, I don't think, in the playoffs, have we? If we did, it was a very long time ago, but we definitely haven't in the last, 10-plus years. So let's take a look at what they look like. First line, Arthur Gormley, Todd Bouwmeester. Oh, yeah, I think I remember this dude. 5th overall, almost a decade ago. And they also have Jonathan Guerrero. Solid top line. Second line, Marcel Lambert, Maxwell Soure, and Boris Samsonov. Solid second line. Third line, Avery Agusin? I don't know how it's pronounced. And they also have Gavin Sawchuk and Stuart Gunderson. Solid third line, a little bit weak maybe on the wingers. Fourth line, Nasir Lindsay, Jermaine Delmore, and Andrei Frolov. They definitely look like maybe a bit of a cheese team, but they do have good threats as well, like Bouwmeester and Guerrero. So they are a solid team offensively, but I would expect this defensive core to be really good, and that's why they play good defensively. It's not the craziest. Noel Dodge and Landon Dupont, so Landon Dupont's over there now. They also have Caden McKay and Cristiano Pecker, who used to be a draft pick of ours, played with us for a little bit. Did play also with the Rangers, but yeah, he briefly played as an Islander 3 seasons, and then we might have let him go because we didn't need him anymore because we had a lot of defensive prospects at one point. But yeah, he's found himself in New Jersey now. They also have Sawyer Da Silva and Tristan Emerton, so kind of an okay defensive core. I can see why maybe it's it's good because of Landon Dupont and all that. And then from a goaltending perspective, they have a good stud goalie, and that's probably the difference right now is Oleg Vorobyov, who has been very good this postseason. Regular season, he was good too, but playoffs so far in his career, he's been absolutely lights out. This year, a 944 save percentage and a 1.84 goals against average. Last year, he had a 919. So these are the only 2 years they've made the playoffs in the last while. So, yeah, definitely going to tough to score goals on him. They also do have Ladislav Zhurdev, who has not played much in the playoffs before. It was this year, I guess, that he played in the playoffs, so he must have got yanked sometime to starting goalie, but Zhurdev was not very good, played 10 minutes and allowed a goal on 4 shots. So, scratch, they have Trey Cutler and Malcolm Spence still playing at 36. We remember him from Montreal, I think, mostly. I think it was Montreal in this series, right? No, okay, it wasn't Montreal in this series, it was Washington in this series. Montreal was the Albuquerque series, I guess. But, interesting team. I don't really know who would be their scoring leader. I feel like it should be Bouwmeester, but it could be somebody random. So let's take a look at those stats from the regular season and playoffs from their players, just to see who's a threat to watch out for. Because I honestly don't know who it would be. I'm going to guess Bouwmeester, but I don't know. Surrey. See, you never know. Surrey only an 86 overall, but he led him in points. He was 83 points in 82 games. Bouwmeester, despite being as high overall as he is, only had 57 points, but he only played 51 games. So missed 31 games due to injury, but was well over a point per game when he played this season. Last year he had 102 points. So yeah, definitely he would have led the team in points if he was healthy all year, but it seems like Surrey did a good job playing top line with like guys like Gormley and all that. So that's a bit scary. Good depth scoring on this team, it looks like, despite being more of a defensive team. All right. And in terms of the goaltending regular season, we saw that Vorobyev had a 918, Zhurdev had a 905. That's interesting. I don't really know what to say. I think our team is better than they are, of course, on depth and all that, but honestly, it doesn't really matter at all when it comes to the playoffs. It could be any team that wins. And, like, our team definitely has the experience advantage, too. So I definitely think we can find a way to win, but obviously we need to clean up our defensive play a little bit from some of those earlier games. Like, obviously we played really good defensively the last 3 games, but those games where we allowed like 8 goals against and stuff like that, that cannot happen against New Jersey. It just can't. If it does happen, we'll find a way to lose that series. If we play good defensively again and find our offensive game still, we could definitely find ourselves maybe in the Cup Finals for the first time in a while. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of New York Islanders Franchise Mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the conference finals against the New Jersey Devils as we look to get ourselves to the finals for the first time in what feels like a very long time. This might be one of our best chances to do so just because we're not running into Montreal, Toronto, or Ottawa. So hopefully we find a way to get 4 wins and build off what was a crazy series in Columbus. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.